Well, family, we got some things to get into now. This is going to be the after show for these episodes of Family or Fiancé because we got to dig deep. We're going to get into some things. Okay, so I need you to pull up, get comfortable, get you some popcorn, get you a drink, something to sip on because we got to get into it from a therapist perspective. Now, I am Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and apparently this show was out last summer, but I think I got caught up in Love Island. So we might have to go back and rewatch some episodes, but let's look at this case. We're going to look at it from a case notes perspective, looking at this case, okay? Now, for those who do not watch the show, it is about two people who come together and they have to decide as they're engaged, okay? Do I choose my family or do I choose my fiance? And then we have this expert who is helping them navigate all this in this mansion somewhere, probably in Malibu or something. And they come together and they pretty much, both sides of the family, three people from each, the bride, the groom, each side, we have three individuals. Okay. So in this episode, okay, I'm going to give you the case notes. Okay. So we can start there. Okay, we have James and Jamica. They met in 1999 at a family funeral. Okay, he was 30. She was 18. And because of the age, apparently nothing happened. She wanted to do something. He wasn't really comfortable with it. And so life went on. And then in 2018, they reconnected. And they got engaged in 2020. Now, what year is it, okay? It's 2025, so I'm guessing this was filmed most likely sometime last year. So at the time of filming, they were engaged for 4 years at this point. How long do you really be engaged? All right? Is it necessary to be engaged for 4 or 5 years? All right? But here is the kicker. Girl, they cousins. They're third cousins. Yes, sis. They are cousins. Okay? Yeah, you heard that right. Take your sip of your drink. Put your mouth back. Yes, they're cousins. Okay? But apparently they did a DNA test and there are no DNA markers because they are third cousins. Because apparently that makes a difference whether this is okay or not, is that we are third cousins. Not first, not second, girl. Third cousins. All right? Now, when they reconnected in 2028, when they reconnected in 2018, they were both still married. At the time of filming this episode, they were still married. Now, she has started the divorce process, but he, on the other hand, has not. Okay, and let me tell you, this is also going to be, I believe, his third marriage. Now, we are just on the notes about the case. We have not really even got into it. Okay, so all my therapists, are y'all out there taking notes? My psychologists who watch this channel. All right. Now, they get to the mansion, just the two of them, and they both have matching acrylics. Mani-pedis. And now when you look at this individual, this man, he reminds me of Too Short mixed in with maybe a little bit of Suge Knight, but it's getting more Too Short. Now imagine if Too Short walked in with some acrylics, with a mani-pedi. Not just no basic bitch mani-pedi, okay? Some glitter on his nails. Now I have no, do what you do, love who you love. None of that really bothers me, but it's just, to me, when I saw him, the aesthetic didn't really match like what he was presenting. It was just, it's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. All right. So apparently a couple days before this was filmed, his side of the family found out that they were, I think, related. So nobody knew for the longest time. She would be at functions. They knew that they were together. They lived together, but nobody knew that they were third cousins until these episodes were starting to come up. All right. And also, both sides of the family do not, I don't know if I really believe this, know what this show is about. They don't know it's about, family and fiancés and trying to choose. You're going to choose your fiancé. Are you going to choose your family? I don't really believe that. Okay. Now his family shows up first, and it's interesting because they're both, James and Jamica are standing in the kitchen, and his daughter is knocking at the door, waiting to be let in. And it's almost like they're in a state of like shock and denial. Like, we really have to talk about this. We really have to address these issues, because the daughter is knocking and ringing the doorbell and they're not opening. They're not opening up the door. And they eventually go and open up the door. And the daughter is even like, I didn't think y'all was going to open up the door. All right. So they get up there and they tell their family. Now, Jamica was quick to pull that ring out her little pocket and put on her finger and acknowledge, we're engaged, boo-boos. Boobies, we're engaged. And the family is just like, we both disagree, both sides of the couch. His family over here, her family over here, disagree with this relationship. But now to add to it that y'all are engaged, damn, we just found out that your third cousins. Can you simmer down a little bit? And so they go into this activity. Again, we're learning about the dynamics between James and his children and Jamica and her daughter. Now, the interesting thing about both of the daughters is that there's some abandonment trauma there. Okay. Now, every time James gets together in a relationship, he leaves town and follows that woman somewhere to a new city. They get married. He's still married while he's engaged. This individual to me is very lost. Okay. By the way he dresses, the way he just, to me, chameleons himself to the relationship, that he follows the women and forgets about his children. And so his daughter, who is there, she becomes emotional throughout the episode. And there was one pivotal scene where during the first exercise, Jamica is, meeting with his family, and they're doing this exercise where they're answering questions. And a lot of trauma comes up, to be honest. This whole episode was just this clusterfuck of trauma and the unhealed wounds, and how you see generationally it just gets passed down. Okay, and what happens when unhealed parents raise children? Okay, they mess them up with their trauma. All right, because they don't want to heal and take accountability. So during this exercise, Jamica actually reveals to his family, including his daughter, the daughter asks, do you guys want more children? And Jamica actually says, honestly, we had a miscarriage. We had a baby last year, or we were going to have a baby last year. And his daughter becomes very emotional. It's triggering to hear that he wants to have more children when he does not have a relationship with the 2 adult children that he has. And he abandons them over and over again. Yet, you are okay with having another child? What about me? What about healing our relationship? What about my grandkids? And later in the episode, we found out that she had her first baby at 16. 16 having a baby. Well, not without a lot of guidance, without her father there to support her. And she really felt like she wasn't going to make it. And I think that instead of, this man chasing women and trying to figure out who he is as a person, his focus should be more on healing his relationships with his children. Now, the first daughter already is no contact. This daughter is barely hanging on, but we'll progress into that later. Now, the daughter is still very much, feeling the emotions and just the impact of knowing that my father wanted to have another child, or was going to, when he has not been there for me my whole life, or my sister. And so they go into this dinner scene. And it's interesting because I feel like every time I watch this damn episode, they eating spaghetti. Can we rise up the budget on the dinner now? Please, because I'm tired of watching these people eat spaghetti every time. All right? So at the dinner table, the daughter is crying, and she won't even look at him. Okay? And now the father, James, is at the head of the table. And his fiancé, Jamica, is trying to get him to take accountability, turn that mirror on himself, and notice that his daughter is crying and visually upset. She's trying to get him to be a father. Now, there is a difference between being a father and being just like a dad. I don't know. It's a difference, y'all. It's a difference. And for me, yes, he is her father. But what are the action steps? What does that look like in reality? he's not a father. Okay? And he makes it throughout the episode all about himself. Okay? He seems like he is so lost and didn't probably have the guidance that he needed to be a man, a father, that he didn't know how to pour that into raising children. And we have a lot of men who did not have father figures. Maybe the relationship with their own mother is not that great. So now you're bringing children in the world where you don't have foundation in your own, like how you were raised. And now you're expected to raise children. And that's why so many fathers to me are absent, because they have no guidance, no sense of self. So in this case, I feel like he is very selfish. And even at times, I think it might have been his groomsmen, one person he brought from his side of the family, they try and step up and get him, dog, just go over there and hug her. Just tell her what she wants to hear, something to acknowledge that you see her. A lot of children of emotionally immature parents want to be seen, want to be heard. Now, in this instance, I think that his daughter really wants change, but I don't think he's capable of change. He doesn't want to change. He is happy with what he's doing, and he thinks that he can do no wrong and doesn't take accountability. So a lot of you guys, when you are healing from emotionally immature parents, you have to take out the want and desire for change. You can't change nobody. You can't force change on anybody. The only thing you can do is change how you react to how these people trigger you, say things. You can't do nothing over here to change that. You got to look at yourself and see how I play a role in this, how I can make change for myself so I can begin my healing process, and so that I won't be so consumed with the change of my parent. And a lot of times you guys go into conversations with your parents thinking, I'm going to say this and get off my chest, and that's going to propel them to change. Take that away. Take wanting a result from those dynamics, and you will see yourself feel freer, lighter, because the focus now becomes on you, not so much wanting them to change. If you take away the desire for change, just slowly watch how your life will change. Okay. Now, after the dinner scene, Jamica and James show up in matching outfits to meet with the expert. And the expert is connecting the dots about his relationships. Now, I'm not going to get too much on these experts because, one day your girl's going to be an expert on these shows. And y'all going to be in the comments getting on me. So I'm not going to get too much into the expert because I think she did a great job. All right. And I don't need y'all to be on me when I'm on TV. Okay. I'm claiming it. So they show up in matching outfits. And it's like he put so much effort into being with this woman. I just imagine the effort you put into working on your relationship with your children. But his main focus is the woman. And notice how he doesn't have a good relationship with the women that he birthed, yet he has, in his eyes, good relationship with the women that he chased. Okay, looking at the juxtaposition between these two dynamics, the parallel process of looking at relationships with the women who are his daughters versus the women who he fell into relationships with. That's something to also look at there. Now, after, they twinning, okay, they get out the expert session. They go outside to meet with a therapist who they call an expert. Okay, I forgot her name, but it was Dr. Tamara? She is an expert in trauma and healing relationships related to trauma therapy. I'm going to put that doctor on your name, even though I don't remember your name. Okay, you was a doctor. We're going to put some respect on it. Now, it's interesting when I watch this scene because I see both daughters sitting next to each other. Her daughter and his daughter. And I think because of the abandonment that they have been through with both their parents and the mental health issues that they're both exhibiting and discussing, are they trauma bonding? Are they really just getting to know each other? That was my concern. I don't want their relationship to be built off a trauma bond, but I thought it was good to see them sitting together and developing a relationship, and maybe through the things that they have gone through, develop some sense of self and relationship. Because Jamica's daughter, when they were inside, throughout the episode up until this moment, did y'all notice how she always talked down? She never made eye contact. She always just was talking and not looking up. And that's what I've seen a lot of clients who have a lot of parental trauma and not having a voice, not feeling seen, not feeling heard. You talk down. You don't make eye contact. Okay? Because you are not used to being acknowledged. Your voice is not used to being embraced. So it's not until you start to feel like it's okay for me to talk, it's okay to be seen without being ridiculed, without being yelled at, without being punished. It's okay for me to sometimes have the light on me. Notice and ask yourself, are you uncomfortable with the spotlight being on you? And where that comes from. Because I saw it in her. Now in this scene, Jamica's daughter talks about her mental health and how all this has impacted her to the point that she needs therapy. She thought at one point, I was going to go to college and I would not have to deal with any of this, but she soon realized, even though it's not in her face, she still has a lot of mental health components and issues related to the dynamics here. Okay. And so it's also good to see his daughter also talk about her mental health and feeling lost and just, I think, wanting her dad to show up for her, wanting him to see her, show some kind of effort, take some accountability. But instead, what does James do? Oh, he walks off. He doesn't like the pressure of having his choices be thrown in his face to make him have and be forced to face them. It's easier for him to run out of town and chase a new woman than to deal with the fact that he abandoned his kids and that he's never been there for them. Okay, so he walks away. Now, Miss Doctor is great because she has a very soothing, calm atmosphere. She got out of her seat when his daughter was upset, went to go comfort her, hear her, mirroring what a parent should be. You did good, girl. If you watch this episode, you did good. Okay. Sometimes I see these experts watching people become verbally aggressive, becoming upset, but I don't see them step out and mirror to them what that person is needing. And so there's a lot of rules in therapy about you can't hug your client, but sometimes I think that stuff gets in the way of healing our clients and mirroring what they need. I know me myself, I've had a client or two on my couch crying. And I thought to myself, yeah, the rules say that I'm not supposed to go and give them a hug. I'm not supposed to comfort them. But you know what? Something else in me is saying that this person just needs some acknowledgement. So I went over there and I sat on the couch with her. And I allowed her to cry on my shoulder. Because I don't think she would have got that anywhere else. And sometimes that is all a person needs sometimes, is just human to human. Yes, you're my therapist, but human to human. Comfort me. Acknowledge that you see my hurt. Okay, and I think, Dr. Girl, you did that. You really did. Now, she also went and tried to not chase, but, go and have a conversation with James as he walked away, his little magenta polo and fingernails. Okay, now she tried to have a conversation with him and explain to him what is going through the mind of his daughter. And for a second, I'm like, okay, I think he's getting it. Nah, cuz, nah. All right? Because he returns to the mansion and we see his daughter walk off the scene. And she goes inside and she packed her little carry-on. All right? She's like, I'm done. I am done. I think she came there with hope. Hoping that her father would show some acknowledgement, some accountability, that there will be change. And once again, when you go into a situation with parental wounds and immature parenting, and you go into it wanting your parents to change, you're going to get hurt. Because everything is set up in the change, wanting a result from them. But you have to turn that around and want results from yourself. How can I heal? How can I use this experience for myself, this conversation for myself, for my own healing journey? What do I need from it, from myself? Remove them. Okay? So she packed her shit. She get in the car. All right? And then his friends are in the house saying, dog, just tell her what she wants to hear. Do something. Show up. Be a father. Everyone around him is pushing him to be a father, but you can't force no man to be a daddy. You can't force no man to be a father. So he goes out there with his tail between his legs. He opens up the car door, the suburban door. And he says, let me quote, because this is a part that got to me. Okay? She's in the car ready to go to the airport. And he says, everyone wants you to come back. Everybody wants you to come back. I ain't hear no, I want you to come back. Let's work on things. Can things get better? No, everybody else wants you to come back. Okay? I feel like he made no effort for her to stay, to show up. He really didn't. And I think it also showed Jamica that, nah, cuz, we can't be doing this engagement. So we see her in their little confessional, take off her little ring. What? And then they decide to put a pause on the engagement, girl. And I'm like, what is a pause on an engagement? Especially if you live together and you already been engaged at this point 4-5 years. What is a pause? What does it look like? And why have y'all been engaged for 4 years? All right, you're still marrieds. Okay. So then they come back inside and we see the final conclusions that they decide they're going to put a pause on their engagement. You know, and then we get the details of what happened after the episode. The daughters are both trying to navigate finding therapy for themselves. Her daughter's having more of a voice. And he's made no attempt to really have a relationship with his daughter who left. So now he has 2 daughters that he's estranged from. Why? Because he is a person who is selfish and only cares about himself. Okay? And I don't see how a woman can want to be with a man who treats his kids like that, who abandons them, who sees the hurt and the trauma. How could you want to be with somebody like this? Yo, forever? Forever, ever? No. I think we have to recognize that we settle out of fear of being alone. And I feel like she's settling. And low key, it was interesting how she looks older than her mama. But I think there's just so much trauma here. Out of everybody in the world, why are you in love with your third cousin? Okay? So this, I think, is going to be his 3rd marriage. There's like, what, a 17... maybe a 17-year age gap. Wait, I'm not really a mathematician. I'm a therapist, okay? But yeah, there's more than a 15-year age gap if he was 30 and she was 18 in 1999. Y'all do the math and let me know in the comments, okay? But how can you be with somebody who acts like that towards their children? Who acts like that when they become uncomfortable during disagreements, during arguments? Now, we only saw 3 days of this relationship, so I can only imagine when the cameras are not there, what is really going on. But this is a man who is emotionally stunted, emotionally immature, and I wonder about the trauma that he has been through, because mentally his brain stopped developing when that trauma happened, and he's still stuck there. Okay, I'm not sure what the relationship is with his father, his own parental issues, but that is where his mind still is. His maturity is still that of somebody who, to me, is probably in high school, maybe even middle school. Okay? And so you're bringing that type of person into your life, into your children's life who already have their own trauma, to build what? Ever after? Make it make sense. Okay? But this is just episode 1. Of course, let's go over the case notes one last time. And I want y'all to give me in the comments what's y'all diagnosis. What do y'all think? How are we going to work on this case? All right. Jamica and James, what y'all doing? All right. Your third cousins, no DNA markers. Your first met in 1999 at a family funeral. Bad karma right there. You're reconnecting in 2018. And then she said they got engaged 3 months after they reconnected. And at that point, they had only seen each other, 2 to 3 times before they got engaged. What's the rush, bruh? What's the rush to lock it in? What's the rush? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts. Episode 1, Season 4, Family or Fiancé. Very good. Very rich as a therapist. Okay? Now let me know, do y'all watch the actual show or do I just watch my videos? But let me know your thoughts because, of course, Episode 2 will be happening, I believe, next Saturday. And we'll be recapping it as a family and looking at the case notes together to figure out family or fiance. And in this case, it was all about family and the fiance got put on pause. All right? But make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces!